Ready for me?
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Purposeful Powerhouse podcast. And I have a special guest with me today. My friend Erin and I are going to be talking about something really important and something really near and dear to my heart, and maybe yours too, because it involves your heart. Doing it all despite the challenges, the internal challenges of anxiety, sadness, fear, all of the range of normal human emotions that we deal with. And especially as entrepreneurs, we're just a little bit crazy as it is. And so, yeah, it's kind of part of the game. So, Erin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on. I know we met when you were on my podcast, so we've just kind of kept in contact, and that's honestly my favorite part about podcasting is who I get to meet and learning their stories, and that's kind of my favorite part. But thanks for having me on.
Love it. Yeah, I'm really coming to like that too. When I asked you about starting a show, you were one of the people that mentioned that. Actually, a few people mentioned that, and I thought, well, yeah, I always really love chatting with people. A, B, I have cool friends and they knew cool stuff. So C, I should hang out with them and learn from them. And D, share your awesomeness with my community and the world because everybody needs these tools. So E, I started a podcast. I should let you all know I am properly delirious, so this might be a fun episode. So today we're going to be talking about the reality, and I've done episodes on this before, and maybe you, my listeners, watchers, have heard me speak about this. I call it the dark cloud of entrepreneurship, the prevalence of the reality that we all deal with, of the ins and outs, of upside downs, of just the normal range of human emotion, and how we go through the gamut, especially as personal brands and being vulnerable and being out and online and all that, and just as a human. And so let's jump in. I want to learn more about you. And can you take us to a moment in your story, maybe when some things changed for you or you had an insight, so that we can get to know you and about why you're so passionate about the work that you do?
Well, it was about 5 years ago when I had gastric sleeve surgery, and I was just, I have two kids, a husband, well, at the time, three dogs, and I was just like, I hated my life. Every day I went to work, did all the things for everybody else, really did not like my kind of corporate marketing and marketing management position. And, it's just a lot of doing what you're told. And I just hated my life. I just kind of had this like, holy shit, I cannot go another 40 years like having no purpose, no joy, no excitement. And like right when I had gastric sleeve surgery 5 years ago, I was like, I need something because I kind of had broken up with God for a while after my mom died, and I was 16, so I broke up with him for a while, and I was just like, I need something. I didn't know who I was telling it to, but I was like, I need something. And it within a couple weeks, I met my spiritual mentor, started Reiki for chronic pain, and then my whole life transformed. I learned how to heal my anxiety. Anxiety is still part of me. My depression is still part of me. My panic is still part of me. My ADHD is still part of me, but it's no longer in control of me. It's no longer, the leader of the bus. It's pretty much in the back seat. And every once in a while, I had a panic attack a couple weeks ago, but that was like the first one in like 5 years, yeah, probably 3 to 4 years. So, it's like it's not an all day, every day anymore. I have hope, I have joy, I have purpose. I mentor other spiritual people developing their gifts and healing and doing all the things, and I did not have a Cinderella story life. I had the kind of traumatic up and down, and I never knew how to process that or heal that. So I just stuffed it down for 39 years. And then when it came time to process and deal, it was kind of a shit show. So, I learned a lot of different spiritual methods. Reiki was what kind of started everything, connecting to spirit, working in past lives and Akashic records, DNA activations, shamanism. So a lot of different methods and really taking responsibility for my own shit. What was my part in it? What do I need to do about it? How can I heal it? Therapy, medication, traditional Western medicine shit never moved any needle for me. Maybe a week or two on a medication and then nothing. So postpartum depression. I've had anxiety since I was 2 or 3. Like I remember having panic attacks at that young age. So When I say, like, I understand anxiety, my children also have it. They have OCD, ADD, ADHD, all a gamut of things. So they have things as well, you know. So it's learning to navigate it and learning to not let it be in control anymore. So now I don't live the what if life, and now I get to live the life that I want. So, you know, I was so worried before of what if, what if, what if. You're so fucking worried about planning out the next 2 months. You can't, you don't have any, there's nothing for today. What if you go out and fucking get hit by a car? I was so fucking worried about what's going to happen in 3 months that I missed the whole day today. You know what I mean? So I just was able to have a total life transformation. And was it easy? Fuck no. Is the spiritual awakening easy? Fuck no. It is not the bathtub and riches and beauty and unicorns and rainbows like some people make it seem. It's fucking hard. When you have to deal with your shit, it fucking sucks. It sucks. But when you can start learning to let it go and release it, your fucking life changes. It totally changes. Like, now I have a purpose. Now I have a goal. Now I have dreams. Now I have, like, you know, I don't live the, I call it what, sometimes old Erin surfaces. If I'm having an integration or a dark night of the soul period, or my teenagers are really pissing me off, you know, it's like I hit kind of old Erin status, and I'm like, oh, old Erin's back. And I know, because she's kind of bitchy and kind of unhappy, and like, you know, I used to have a shirt that said good vibes, and the kids are like, why are you wearing that? Because you're mean and you're yelling. I said, I didn't start out yelling. You know, so it's like they're like, "You're supposed to be this nice." I said, "Listen, it was like the 10th time I asked you to do something. I did not start out of the gate yelling." So, you know, there's, and that was a transformation for my family too, like the way they spoke, the way, you know, it was just a whole life transformation and shift. So it was so powerful for me, and that's what kind of led me into doing spiritual work, because um, nothing worked for me before, and I have witnessed the weirdest ass shit you will ever ever hear in your life. The weird shit I've witnessed has been my entire life. So that hasn't changed now that I do spiritual work. Just makes more sense, because for whatever reason that shit is drawn to me. Those weird people, the weird fucking accidents, everything I've ever witnessed is drawn to me. So, like, everything makes sense. All the premonitions, to be able to read people's thoughts and feelings and emotions, and all of those things, protecting your energy and clearing your energy, like, that was a game changer. If anybody takes anything away from this episode, energy protection and clearing, whether you use your intuitive gifts or connect to spirit or do the things, will change your life. I no longer have anxiety or panic or all these attacks, because I'm not sucking in other people's energy like a sponge. I know how to protect my energy from other people, Walmart, social media, clients, children. And that is a life changer. When I realized, I think it's about 6 months before I started my spiritual work, and I started having such bad heart palpitations. I thought I was having a heart attack every single night. I was like, holy fuck, I have to wake my husband up and make him take me to the hospital. It was beating so far out of my chest. I was like, I feel like I've had like 300 Red Bulls. And as soon as I started my spiritual work and started learning energy protection and clearing, it like was like gone. And one day I was like, what the fuck? Like, why am I not panicking constantly? And I learned it was other people's energy was fucking with me that bad. So now it's kind of like a set point. Now I know if my anxiety, my heart rate kicks up, usually it's a military, like somebody that's passed in the military, but it's usually a client booking a session, somebody asking a question, it's their anxiety. So I know, and I'm like, okay, well, so and so super anxious, either nervous about this, blah, 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 blah. And I can clear it and I'm done. And I don't, you know, I'm not constantly in the overwhelm, mind fuckery, like constant overthinking space, you know? So it's just a total game changer, life changer. And I had to break away from the Catholic religion, which, you know, that was a challenge in and of itself. Like, there's a lot of programming from the Catholic religion where you're going to go to hell, you're going to do this. And I'm closer to God now than I ever was those 39 years. So, you know, it's just a really cool space to get to help other people come into their gifts, understand, to really heal. It's possible. Don't fucking sit there and say that nothing is going to work. Nothing can heal your trauma, your pain. That's a choice you're making. Plain and simple, it's a choice you're making, because um, I had tried a lot of things in 39 years that didn't work. So I did give up. But I still tried again. You know what I mean? Like, I still tried again. So if you're giving up but trying again, okay. But if you're giving up and just always saying nothing's gonna work, then nothing is ever gonna work, and you're gonna live a fucking miserable ass life, and you're probably just gonna hate it until you die, you know what I mean? And, like, that's a choice. That's where you have to take responsibility for your healing, and, it sounds harsh sometimes, I think, when I say it, but it's the reality. Like, you don't always get a choice of what happens to you, but you get to choice in a reaction and what you're gonna do about it, how you're gonna react to it, how you're gonna heal from it, how you're gonna move forward from it. So, it's, a lot packed into a spiritual awakening, but I fully leaned into it, so it brought amazing shit, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, you answered like 3 of my questions there already, so
Boom, boom, boom.
and we're good. Do you have a gift to share? No, I'm kidding.
I got all kinds. What do you want? Well, what are you looking for?
Right? So, yeah, I think that's you touched on quite a few important things there, and that in the process of awakening and on the journey that we're all on, right? Our warrior's journey is that there's gonna be times when it feels like it's wildly out of our control. We are feeling like we're losing it and that we do feel crazy. And so thank you for being real with that because yeah, it's that whole facade that we see on social media, that filtered life of, yeah, it's not all, spiritual way. I love the memes and I feel like you've shared a few too that, what you
I've
think,
created some doozies.
right? And what you think it's gonna be like and how it's, you're gonna have these rainbows
Magical and
shining out of your
peaceful.
chakras, and meanwhile it feels like
Yeah, it's more like an unstrapped roller coaster, or like, did the condom just break? Holy fuck! Now my whole life is, like it's like that's what your spiritual awakening is really like. It's not this money dropping into your bathtub bullshit. It's harsh and work and like putting energy into it and time and money. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole process. Like it's a whole process, and I think when you strip away the expectations of what this beautiful experience is gonna be like, and just fucking put your seatbelt on and just go with the ride and, like, allow shit to happen, then that's when, like, massive transformation can happen. But if you keep resisting and controlling and being a control freak and all the things, like, you're gonna have a rough, bumpy ride, So if you just go like this and just give it to spirit and be like, "Alright, just fucking do it. Do what you gotta do." Learning to not control things was huge for me.
which is hard
Huge.
for people that like to control things.
Yeah, I mean, my mom died at 16, so I learned to control everything because I did not want people leaving my life unexpectedly. I wanted to be prepared, I wanted to plan. That's why I what ifed my life to the exponential, and I missed everything that was literally happening in front of me. So, um, you know, I can't say the moment or what epiphany happened where I just started. Well, I know spirit was like, if you don't let loosen the control, we can't give you more. So I was like, fuck you, no, like, no. So we had a battle for a while. They're like, fine, we'll just shut your gifts off. And I'm like, oh, that's rude. So then, like, we had this fight for a while and they shut my shit off. So I'm like, fine. So I had to start just being like, all right, fine, whatever. So now it's just ask, allow, receive. Ask for what you want, allow spirit to bring it to you, however it is for your highest and best good, and receive it when it comes. Might not be the $10,000 check you're hoping for, but it's probably going to be way fucking better. Like they're going to just drop a whole bunch of shit to you instead of, I just need 2 clients this month. Well, they could have brought you 5, but you said you only wanted 2 and you were controlling it. So, like it's kind of a mind game as well of letting go, allowing God's spirit universe to bring you what's for your highest and best good. Cause like they can see the cool shit. You're a little blinded over here in the human space. So it's being expansive and being open and allowing, and especially when you're somebody like me who didn't have people to rely on or trust or count on. It's hard to trust a spirit that, I mean, I can see, but it's like, how do you trust something that, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't trust humans in my life. How can I trust spirit? So it's a whole practice in futility, trust, surrender, letting go of control, asking for what you want, receiving it when it comes, not, because I was always my whole life, I just helped everybody else because every time I hoped for something in return, compassion, love, somebody to be there for me, it just didn't happen. So I just got hurt over and over and over, so I just learned to like not ever, ever expect anything in return and just focus on helping other people. Cause you know what I mean? So that was a big, hard one for me to shift and not constantly overgive or try to deplete myself just to help others. It's a whole there's a whole gamut of things that happen in there. But it's being open and calling yourself on your own shit and having these realizations and working through what comes up. And I always say you have to get to the roots of whatever it is, this life, past life. And that's been a huge game changer for me is getting to the root. Go to the Western medicine doctor, they give you a pill to cover up whatever the problem you have. When you do real healing, you need to get to the fucking roots. Where the fuck is it coming from? Is it a past life? Is it this life? Is it a combination? And what do you need to do about it? How do you need to address it? What responsibility do you need to take for it? There's just a whole big process in the spiritual awakening mix, let's say it like that. And there's no right or wrong way to do it, but if you keep putting it off and kind of only half-assing it, spirit knows you're not going to get everything you want if you're half-assing shit, because you can tell yourself you're doing it all, but spirit knows.
Right, I mean, if you're only going halfway, then why would the universe go all the way? And so that
Yep.
to me makes total sense. And so, yeah, let's talk about that a little bit about how getting to the root of it, because sometimes facing all of that stuff is rough and it's difficult and it's scary. But it's what I'm hearing you say is that it's absolutely essential and necessary, in fact, to get to where we want to go. Yes, but also to fully heal and integrate. So let's talk a little bit about that. Do you see people kind of running from it? You've said yourself you ran from it for quite some time. So it sounds like that's a
Hmm.
common theme.
Yeah, and it's not like you run from it because because you're a chicken shit. It's more like you really don't know how far those things are buried. So right now I'm teaching a class, and I kind of changed it up in the middle. They were learning the Akashic records, and then we added in DNA activations, and they just skyrocketed. And I was like, oh my god, that's what it is. That's the whole missing piece is everything that's hidden in your DNA, in your soul, in your mind, in your body, this life, past life, everything that's buried in you that is holding you back because you don't even know half of the shit of what it is. Like, until I really started to getting to the roots of things, like, I had no idea that the teacher in first grade who literally fucking hated me with a passion and tortured me on a regular basis, that a lot of stuff was coming from her, and there was past life stuff buried in there with it. So, and then it just builds over time because you get this one thing of how you're treated by one person, then you start expecting it from other people. So, like, you have to peel back all of these different layers. And yeah, it sucks. You bury that shit for a reason because you don't know what to do with the emotions. You don't know how to process it. Doesn't feel good. So you just bury it. So when I started doing work, meditating was a big one for me. Took a long time for me to learn to meditate because I have a fucking monkey mind and it's all mind fuckery up there. And it took time. It took, like, okay, this is coming up. I don't like it very much. What do I need to do about it? Understand it, sit with it, process it, keep digging into it. I created some methods. I have spiritual methods. I use spirit, I use past lives, I use clearing. I have a method that I created, soul mapping. There's just a whole bunch of methods to really get to the roots of things. So sometimes it's just a little thing. I'm like, okay, can I just clear it? And spirit's like, no, you need to like dig into this because it's a big thing. So, there's just kind of a process that I guess I created for myself that works really well. And um, but you can't spirit's always like, we're bringing that shit up for a reason. You need to process it and deal with it, or we're not giving you more. You can't have more until because the more freedom you have, your mind, your body, your soul, kind of like yoga, like there's this flow, there's this energy, there's this space about it. And when your mind, your body, and your soul has freedom, you're not constant.
Could you try again?
My watch always talks to me for
Hey Siri,
whatever
we're not
reason.
talking to you right now. Hey, no, now mine
But
is active. Oh my God, that's so funny.
But you're like when you start releasing, clearing, processing, your trauma never goes away. Your trauma is your trauma, but you're no longer tied to it. It might come up again in the future, but it's not to punish you. It's an awareness. Okay, is somebody else treating you like this person used to treat you? So it's like, okay, this is a red flag. I either need to have boundaries, get away from this person, stop talking to them, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So it's your traumas still come up, but they're no longer like an emotional fuck you. They're no longer an emotional like tie back. Like oh, now I'm being thrown back to 30 years ago where this happened. Like, no. Like, okay, well, I used to feel this way when I was treated like this, and this person is treating me like this. So it's an awareness and not like a an emotional like, oh God, now I'm gonna have days, weeks, months where I'm just a total pile, So the more Spirit always says, the more mind, body, and soul freedom you can have. So your soul is this in past lifetimes, the more they can bring you, the more freedom, the more you can manifest, the more you can have, the more joy, the more you can give to others, the more you like, there's so much more available for you to do when you're not constantly burdened by your own bullshit, by the shit that's happened to you, the choices that you've made, stuff that you didn't have a choice in, but still happened to you. The more that we're held back by that stuff, like the less freedom we have, the less ability we have to like sit outside and enjoy it, to not overthink, to not process, to not be sad, to not what the hell ever it is we got going on in there. So um they always show like every time I kind of had this massive healing or breakthrough or whatever, they would just pull off like a weighted blanket. It was just like a weighted blanket off of your soul. And it's like, holy shit, that feels amazing. Like I've witnessed a ton of death. And I remember in one meditation, all of my grandparents and people that I've witnessed suffer and die. Um, they were on the beach, so, like, they were all saying, "Okay, now you can release this. I'm sorry that I did this to you. I didn't know." Like, my one grandpa was really sick, and he would be like, "Just kill me." He would grab me, "Just kill me." And that's for a 9-year-old, that's fucking traumatic, and I never thought about it, and then on this beach where we're releasing all of this, I was like, "Holy fuck, I've witnessed a lot of death and dying at a very young age, starting from a very young age." And at the very end, my grandpa, that was the most traumatic, he literally unzipped me. He's like, "Okay, now you're free of this." And I literally was free of it. It's no like it I literally walked out of the meat suit that they dropped on the beach, and that was it. Like, that was my clearing. That was my cord. Everything was released of it. And I was like, holy fuck, like a whole new me came out of that. So it is powerful. Your mind is powerful. Manifesting is powerful. Meditation is powerful. Releasing and clearing and past life, this life, like everything you do to process and move through is powerful because you're no longer giving power to the stuff that was holding you back. You're giving your power now to like, okay, now what do I get? What can I do? What can I create? How can I help? Like, you just have this a whole different like life availability. Maybe is the right way. Like it's just a it seems so dumb. And some people listening are probably like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And some people who probably aren't there yet are probably like, this bitch is crazy. But it's like it's seriously you've probably had a similar experience. You probably have like, have, with the work that you do, like you probably understand.
Oh, I totally understand. And I understand energetically and I understand from the physical element too, because, if we're gripping in the body, if we're holding the tension to try to really do the pose properly, I'm gonna make it happen, then we're not able to experience the spaciousness and the freedom that we're there for in the first place. And so, I totally get that. And I love all of that. And so you shared a lot of really incredible tools that have worked for you, and I know you do a lot of work with your community and your clients, and you have a gift for everybody today. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, I actually have I created a free guided meditation to access your Akashic records. So you might not be super great at meditating or connecting to spirit or all the things. It doesn't matter. I would just want you to try to do it every day for 7 days and just be open to the experience. So it's really like meeting your main guide in your Akashic records, just really understanding what does it feel like to be in my own history? What is the energy like? What do I hear? What do I see? What do I smell? What do I hear? So, like your clairs, there's a different clair for every, gift. Some people just naturally know it. Some people are developing them. Like, but just be open. If you don't see anything the first time, doesn't mean anything's wrong with you, and doesn't mean you can't connect. You just have to give yourself time because if you haven't been doing a lot of this work hardcore, then it takes time. But like accessing your Akashic records is a really powerful space. It was super easy for me, might be super easy for some, and it might not be easy for others. It's just really an opportunity for you to just kind of witness your own soul's history. Your soul's history is however long and whenever it started, and you kind of have your own book. That's what the Akashic records are, is your own personal history book. So when you go into it, it's your personal history. It's not the whole world's past history, it's yours. So, it's just a really powerful place. It's a really powerful healing tool. It's a really powerful thing to witness, like all of the amazing things that you've done. Maybe you're a doctor, you created things, you brought things forward, like you can bring those forward today. So, like the Akashic Records to me is just a huge and immense powerful tool. So I created a meditation for you to access that, your own soul's history, just to see how it feels, witness your own excellence and amazingness in the history. But not all Akashic history is good. We've done shady shit, we've done good shit. There's everything in between. So you have not always been a super princess with a hot pool boy and all the good stuff. Like you've been a shady motherfucker in some of those. So like I don't want people to have the preconceived notion that they're like it's all sunshine and roses. Like Erin never said that I could be murdering people or doing shady things. Totally. You could totally have done that. So, like, I don't want people to have the light and fluffy rainbow thought in their head, and then they have something weird, and you're just like, "What the fuck? I wasn't expecting that." So, I always have a PSA out there. And that's why I do say, learn to work with your records so you know what you're looking for, how to access, so you don't come across something that's like, "Oh, all right." But it's just a powerful place. So that's what I got.
Thank you, and yeah, thanks for adding that on because I know that, some of us have had experience of our past lives but not everybody. So it's definitely a very interesting experience to go in there and connect with all of these memories and these knowings and these tools. And so I love that gift. Thank you so much. And so fun question to finish with. What does it mean to you to be a purposeful powerhouse?
To me, and it's really interesting because like I left my corporate job a couple months ago. I've been building my spiritual business for 5 years. Kids, family, all the things, but I'm finally just getting to the point where I can say, like, I am a badass. I am a powerhouse. I am very, very good at spiritual work and helping people heal and clear and develop their gifts. Like it feels so good to say that out loud. Like, a purposeful powerhouse, it's really who you are and what you do. And spirit keeps telling me you help one intuitive who helps another intuitive who helps another. So I'm literally helping thousands of people by helping one person. So, it's to me, it's just really, and I've been saying that a lot. Oh, I got full-blooded goosebumps. So, it's something that I've been talking about a lot lately is finding your superpower, understanding your superpower, and bringing it out into the world because nobody can do what you do. Nobody does it how you do it. Everybody can do something similar, but if you can't brag about how fucking good you are and what you do and how you help people, how the hell are other people going to toe your line and understand what you do? How can I refer Megan if I don't know how awesome she is? Like, you know what I mean? And it's a total shift in my how I've lived my life of standing back, working really hard, hoping I get noticed, and now putting yourself out there and as the powerful badass person, it's a total shift, so taking up that space and taking up the energy of it and puffing out your chest and doing that, like feel good about it, and it's a very um different feeling for most of us until we start like really, exuding that energy and really living it and feeling it. But it feels so much better to put it into the world and be like, fuck yeah, I'm totally taking up the space in the spiritual world because I'm a fucking powerhouse. There's no other if, ands, or buts about it. So, you know, is that a braggy thing? Yeah, totally. But like, I also like to my favorite thing is I see what is in other people's souls, what they're capable of, where they're being held back, and one of my students right now, she's had that same thing. And I knew from the beginning what she was capable of. And she really hesitated in the class. I'm like, give the next 6 weeks full, fully yourself. Open up, and within 2 days, she's like, you knew, didn't you? I said, yeah, I 100% knew. She's like, well, thanks for keep telling me what I need to be doing without forcing me what I need to be doing. And she's like, holy shit, I have such a more of a purpose in this world than I ever thought. I said, I know. I said, but you had to come to the realization I can't force you to do that. But fostering that in other people as well, you do the same. Like it's such a fucking awesome thing when you get to see their light bulbs go off and like step into who they really are and what they're really capable of. It's like that's why you do what you do. That's why I do what I do, and it's just such a it's such a power, you know?
Absolutely. I have the goosebumps now too. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. I love that explanation, and I hear you saying that there's a knowing it, there's an owning it, and there's a willingness and almost hmm, conviction in living from that place, because we hear a lot about the act as if and da 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 da, and fake it till you make it. But this is what it is sort of energy. What I'm hearing
Mhm.
you say. Yeah. And there's a
Yep.
difference. There's a total difference. And at times we may feel like we kind of got to practice it, right? We practice what we practice, we become, but it's really that when we get to that point in yourself, and you clearly have, and I love that you help other people to get there, and hopefully many people will learn a little bit more from this whole episode and from your awesome gift. But it's a journey. Like, you're not going to get to that point overnight. Nobody does, right? There's no magic potion wand of, oh, okay, now I'm a badass. It's this growth, it's evolution, it's a practice. And so I love that you see that as part of that. And so thank you so much for being on today. Thank you for your awesome shares and your vulnerability, and helping us realize, you're not crazy while you're going through it. It's actually part of it. So get down in there and do
100%.
it.
Every day, just show up for yourself every day. Even if it's a little bit of a shit show day, just still show up. I posted last week, like, how many times did you want to start an OnlyFans page this week? Like, some days you're just like, fuck it all, I'm just done. You know what I mean? And but you just keep showing up, and just don't give up on yourself.
Beautiful finish. Thank you. Well, thank you everybody for listening and watching, and super grateful for all of you. And yeah, don't give up. This is what this is all about, is learning how to think on purpose and move on purpose and show up on purpose as your purposeful powerhouse CEO self, so that you can go out and share your magic with the world and make that beautiful impact that your soul is destined and here to make. Yes. So have a beautiful rest of your day. Make sure to take a little screenshot and tag both Erin and I, and let us know what your biggest takeaway was. And we'll see you very soon. Thanks again for being part of this incredible community. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.